like why cardiovascular disease is still number one killer. Like why we're not asking that question. Stroke could be so minor that leads to dementia. I used to see stroke in people in their 80s and 70s, later. But now we're seeing young people.
And I believe in that deep state of relaxation, the body is magically able to heal itself.
In this episode, we're going to have a fascinating conversation about stroke, recovery, prevention, and the incredible ability of the human body to heal. I'm joined by Dr. Shan Hong Liu, a physician who brings together Western medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, and emerging technologies. We'll talk about what may contribute to stroke, the role of inflammation and environmental factors, and some of the newer approaches being explored to support recovery. But more than anything, this conversation is about understanding our bodies, asking better questions, and discovering what's possible when we give the body the opportunity to heal. Let's get started.
Hello, my name is Mark Juarez, and this is episode 5 of Happy Company podcast. The Happy Company started with this little guy, the Happy Massager, which is a massager, but it was also a messenger of hope and what we wanted to get out was the power of massage, the power of connection. And I've always had a strong interest in health. So that leads perfectly to somebody I so much appreciate, Dr. Shan Hong Liu, who comes from China originally, came to the United States to study medicine in San Francisco. But she comes from a long tradition of both traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine. And that was something I absolutely admire. But there's a third part that she's not only studies Chinese medicine and Western medicine, she also is looking at new technologies. And to me, we are living in a time when technology is advancing so fast. And I had a major stroke 3 years ago. The prognosis wasn't so favorable when I was in the hospital. And I realized part of that came from they didn't want to provide me false expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather have false expectations and shoot for the moon than be told, as I was, that it may be 6 months before I could walk or talk properly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a part of me that says, no, I don't accept that. But the biggest thing for me was I just had so much I wanted to do. I wanted to write books. I wanted to do this podcast and so many dreams that just drove me to say, I won't accept that.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Liu is somebody who's that same way. She's so determined to help people. I've never met somebody so generous in every way and just is committed to people's health. She lives in Mount Shasta, where I live part of the time. And Mount Shasta is such a magical place. It's both spiritual, because I come from the concept, and I think you probably do too, Dr. Liu, of holistic medicine, which we heal the body, the mind, and the spirit. And that's very strongly embraced in Mount Shasta. That, for me, was one of the strong appeals.
Yes.
All that said, my gosh, she is just so rich in information. Every conversation we have, I just go away with my head spinning in a good way, and they can always go forever. I'm really grateful to have you on today.
Thank you so much, Mark. I know you want everyone to be happier and the community to be happier and healthier, and the world, just everything together, a little bit at a time. And that's what we need. Our world needs to be happier and healthier. And people need to start talking. People need to start embracing each other's differences and just accept we're all human. We're all here together. So thank you so much for holding that vision.
You're welcome. One thing is on my mind in our most recent conversation was on stroke.
Yes.
And for me, one of my best medicines was belonging to several stroke groups and being around other people and comparing notes. That's community. That's connection. It's also learning from each other. You are an exception as a doctor, but for me, it was, and understandably so, difficult to get the information I was seeking at the hospital because the doctors are so busy. It's just like,
Yes.
"Ooh, can I have 5 minutes of your time and just you tell me
Yeah.
what's going on?"
Yeah.
And I rarely got that. And,
Right.
in some ways, I think because I recovered so quickly, they're like, I wasn't prioritized. It was like, "You're doing great. We're gonna go focusing on patients that really need us." And it should have been that way to some extent, but I
Mhm.
wanted to seek information, and I got that through the stroke groups. And and most recently, a lot of information from you, and I really, really appreciate that. And not only good information about strokes, but your approach, which really resonated with me because you were able to look through the lenses of three different lenses.
Right.
Traditional Chinese medicine, which I absolutely adore,
Yes.
and the philosophy of it, which I want to talk about because we talked about it earlier. Western medicine, which is pretty advanced in a lot of technologies, but
Mhm.
there the latest technologies out there, which I understand FDA's concern of wanting to make sure they're safe. Sometimes some of those technologies aren't widely accepted right away, but or understood. And what I value is you look at it from a doctor and say, does this make sense? From both your Western medicine training and your Chinese traditional education training. So you're my go-to in one of my go-tos, in, at least in exploring these technologies. Does this
Mhm.
make sense? Is this good? And
Yes. So Mark, one of the thing is you look at the number one cause of death in this country is cardiovascular disease. The second one is cancer, right? So we're also seeing increase of dementia and Parkinson's disease. And of course, very many people say, why we have so many blood pressure pills, cholesterol pills. You have a blood clot, inhibitors. We have aspirin. Like, why cardiovascular disease is still number one killer? Like, why
and,
we're not asking that question, right?
and also for clarification, which I want to help, cardiovascular includes heart attack and strokes,
And
right?
stroke. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So
Correct.
yeah,
So now for me, my mother is a cardiologist. So a lot of people, when I talk to patients, when they say, what is the best way to go? And some people actually say a heart attack is not bad, right? You just have a massive heart attack and go. The most feared disease is actually stroke because stroke oftentimes cause disability and loss of independence and loss of dignity. And a lot of people can't even take care of themselves, right? And that is actually most feared. The second one is actually Alzheimer's. And because people don't want to lose their mind. And that is really, really important. But a lot of people don't understand. Part of the memory loss, when we look at somebody have memory loss, we want to look at the CAT scan. And a large percentage actually have multifocal infarcts. That means these people have so many little strokes in their brain that they didn't even know they had a stroke. Do you see the problem? So stroke is not just stroke. Stroke could be so minor that leads to dementia, right? Another thing is is a disability that's involved with it. So prevention is really important for sure. But I'm going to go through a lot of the root causes of stroke, right? It's not just aging, it's also air pollution because we're now seeing young people, much younger, right? Mark, you're very much younger. We used to see as an internist, I've been practicing for 28 years. I used to see stroke in, people in their 80s and 70s, later. But now we're seeing young people, bicyclists, have a stroke and heart attack, right? So these are not people they're smoking, they're not eating, they're not obese, they're actually healthy people. So air pollution is adding a lot of the new strokes, and of course the COVID spike protein. Spike protein causes so much stroke and blood clots, and this is not something people are expecting because when the viruses attacking the endothelial and also the blood-brain barrier, it causes profound inflammation. And when the inflammation is acute, it also attracts lots of the immune system to go to the area. So if you have a existing high blood pressure, it may take you 20 years to have a stroke, but now it start to happen much younger. So that's why we're seeing a lot of young people, mid-age, midlife, start having stroke, even though they didn't have high cholesterol at all. Maybe their cholesterol is just slightly elevated. So that's number one. Number two is recovery. Western medicine doesn't have a lot of tool to help people recover because number one, they don't really know why people have stroke. Because if you are solving that why, the body have ability to heal. And that's why it's fascinating because there is a book, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a physician. She had a stroke. And it was very funny. She actually had, when she was having a stroke, she knows she was having a stroke. And she just watched her body. She actually had a massive injury to half of her brain was gone. Okay. She actually completely recovered
Really?
because the other side of the brain can learn. Do you see? So I will find the book for you. It's fascinating. So you have to understand the body is incredible. So the recovery, we need to really explore. Because if we don't explore the recovery, we're going to have, number one, a lot of people will be disabled from the stroke. Number two, so they can't live their fullest potential in their life, right? And then the number two, it will prevent it, right? So Mark, let's just talk about you, okay? I know this may be not of your interest, but let's say you come to see me. You say, Dr. Liu, I'm 56 and I had this ischemic stroke. Did you ask your doctor why do they think you had a stroke? What do they say?
That's the concern. I got so little information. In fact, I had to get it in,
Yeah,
I managed to get a file, and then I
yeah.
shared the file with some of my friends who were far more knowledgeable, one of which was a neuro nurse who gave me more
Yes.
information in
Yes.
5 or 10 minutes than I
Yep.
was able to get from the doctors when I was 3.5 weeks in the hospital. I was meant to be in the hospital 2 months, and I was fortunate to get out early because
Mm-hmm.
there
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit of a glitch in their system, and it was more advantageous for us both for me to leave, and which gave me the opportunity to go to a health conference where they were exploring the most advanced technologies on
Mm-hmm.
on
Okay. So
for the
did you
body.
find out why did you have a stroke? Did they tell
Well, it
you?
was a blood clot, so it was and I
Mm-hmm.
always get the terms mixed up. And in
Okay.
fact, just
Where did
just
the
for the
blood clot come from? Is it thrombotic or embolic? Let me tell you the difference. Thrombotic is a clot formed inside your cranial, artery. Okay, inside, just formed right there. That's called a thrombotic. Embolic is a clot come from somewhere else. Could be from your heart, or could be from your carotid. Do you remember which one?
I don't, but I know for months before the stroke,
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh,
have a friend who, and on my neck, you could see the vein was, like this, and it was
uh-huh,
was constantly pulsing.
uh-huh,
And she looked and she said, "That doesn't look normal. You
uh-huh.
should go to the doctors." And I went,
Mm,
and
mm.
they sent me to where they
Did ultrasound.
ultrasound,
Okay.
and it was interesting. The fellow who did it said, "Oh my gosh, you are so healthy," and he did this scan, and he said, "You're great. You're in good shape." And I said, "But it's always pulsing. Is that normal?" And he said, "Well,
Interesting.
the ultrasound says you look
Hmm.
good."
Normal.
That's
Okay.
all
So
I
it's
could
not
read.
from your carotid. Did they check your heart?
Not immediately, but a year before they had done it, only because I was getting some chest pains. I had high blood pressure. I had concerns that I had some things that could potentially lead to either a heart attack or stroke, mainly higher blood pressure. So I was checking that, but
So
it's
your heart
interesting.
is normal. Yeah.
It was normal. Yeah, they
Yeah.
ran EKGs, and they
Okay. So
and
so far you have a carotid that's clean. You have a heart that's normal. So the question is, where did the clot come from?
God, that's such a good question, and I should know that, and
Hmm.
I don't.
And did it say which artery have the clot? Is it middle cerebral artery? On which side did they say that?
Well, it was my right side that was paralyzed, which means it's the left
Is
side
it
of the
on the
brain that
left
was
side?
affected.
Okay. Okay.
In fact, I heard an analogy by a doctor, and
Hmm.
I wanted to give it just so it really explained it in a way that a fifth grader could understand it, which was
Hmm.
easy for me
Hmm.
to understand. And then I would like you to build off that and give it more a more sophisticated explanation. But with
Hmm.
the way they explained the stroke
Hmm.
was, I live in San Francisco, so if I was to drive to work every day from point A to point B, and I'm used to going one route every day, having a stroke is like a massive boulder just landed in San Francisco, and I could no longer go the way that I would normally drive to work because there's
Hmm.
this big boulder in the way. And so what I need to do is find a new route. Hence, what they were saying is they were making that analogy to recovery of stroke is reconnecting our neural pathways. And one of the fastest ways of doing that was walking. My
Hmm.
physiotherapist said, I asked him,
So, Mark, I don't want you to get distracted. My question is very clear. Do they know? Did they know which artery that
they
has the
probably
clot?
they probably do know, but
Hmm.
they didn't explain it to me, and so I'm
So,
not sure.
okay, so you had a stroke. What is your methodology to prevent the stroke? Let's say you had so far. It sounds like you had high blood pressure for a while.
High
So
blood
you
pressure
talk.
and tremendous stress. So
Okay, okay. The stress does not directly cause stroke. Okay,
you're
otherwise
right.
the whole nation will be having stroke right now. So
I think so.
stroke does not.
Yes.
So imagine everybody's stressed out right now. Not many people have stroke. So I want you to know stroke is a major diagnosis. You do not want to downplay it. Okay. If the doctor doesn't know why you have a stroke, you need to find who can tell you. I don't want you
Yes.
to start thinking yourself will figure it out. Okay. So it sounds like you have hypertension, and hypertension causes encephalopathy, right? When the blood pressure is too high, it's overcome the brain. Our brain has auto regulation, which means when the blood pressure goes up, your brain can control the blood pressure inside the head. That's called the auto regulation of the brain. So
Really?
when you are too high, you overcome the auto regulation. You can cause high blood pressure related stroke. But oftentimes that type of stroke is hemorrhagic. It's usually
Uh-huh.
bleeding, not
Okay.
ischemic, right? So ischemic stroke is either clot flowing from either your heart or the carotid, or it could be related to pollution. Air pollution can cause
Right.
the thickening of the blood. Okay. So that can work with the high blood pressure that day, can cause stroke. Or you may have a COVID, or, because this happened during COVID, right? So when it's happening during COVID, you have to consider, we call the cytokine storm. Cytokine storm is when the virus is in your blood, it causes inflammation, profound inflammation. And one of them is called endothelial, V endothelial derived growth factor. And they tend to penetrate into the endothelial and cause inflammation in that area. So together with stress, high blood pressure, endothelial dysfunction, and that can explain the stroke. Do you see? So now we're looking back here, said I need to get my stress under control. I need to get my blood pressure under control, and I need to sleep and have a good, healthy, lifestyle. I need to make sure I don't have inflammatory markers. So for me, let's say if you'll come to see me, I would probably do an environmental toxin. I will look at CRP, ferritin level, and interleukin 6, TNF alpha, neutrophil lymphocyte ratio. These are all indicators for inflammation, because inflammation not only causes stroke, also causes, profound pain and dysfunction, right? Inflammation is number one killer. It's called the fire within. Actually, it was published in Time magazine. The title is called "The Fire Within." It's called the inflammation in Americans are so common. So we want to make sure those inflammatory markers are normal, and your blood pressure is controlled, and then you will have a much better chance to not only recover the stroke, but also prevent it. Do you see?
Wow. And I read earlier,
Mm-hmm.
4 out of 5 strokes are preventable. And that's why I think this
Yes.
talk is so important today. Because
Yes.
as you're asking me questions about a stroke, and I should know it, I'm actually the kind of information junkie nerd that wants to know
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I just
Mm-hmm.
had such a difficult time
Mm-hmm.
getting this information. That's again why I was so looking forward to this talk today with you for the benefit of everybody.
Yes.
And one thing I don't want to take lightly, because in a talk earlier we had,
Mm-hmm.
you talked about environmental conditions and
Yes.
as being a major contributor to potential stroke, something that people don't talk about very much. And
Right.
those environmental toxins could be pesticides, Roundup, or
Yes.
other types of pesticides that are
Heavy
used in gardening.
metals. The big one is PM 2.5.
What is
PM
that?
2. Is a measurement of air pollution.
Okay. Oh, parts
Okay,
per million. Yes.
correct. So the reason 2.5 is because the size is just, if it's too big, it traps in your nose, upper airway. It doesn't get into the body. When it gets to small size, that size, it's significant enough, it will go into your lung and it will go into your arteries. And that is pro-inflammatory. Like, let me tell you why. Because when the PM 2.5, let's say you have a bad day, but you remember one day San Francisco was just all orange color? There's one day like of smoke from fire, okay? That's why we don't recommend people to go out running when the air is bad. The number one cause of these runners to drop dead is air pollution. So it doesn't make sense if you go out running, when the air is really bad, okay? So why? Because the PM 2.5 get into your blood, and when it get into the blood, it triggers interleukin 6, IL-6, to go up. Interleukin 6 is a cytokine. Now, cytokine is just a word for a chemical that's released by your immune system, okay? So your immune cells are surveillance. They run around the blood, and boom, they see this 2.5, the particles. They're not healthy particles. They're foreign invaders. So is virus. Okay. Now, not all virus cause stroke, but the COVID-19 does, because COVID-19 increase spike protein. The spike protein go to the angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor. That receptor is on your arteries. It's on your endothelial, which is the lining of the artery. When this junk protein, let's say you have a very smooth artery, the blood flows through, this thing is sticking here. It triggers all the inflammation, the macrophages, the platelets. They all try to go there because it looks weird. It's not supposed to be in your artery that is very, very smooth, right? So spike protein is a bad news for the smooth blood flow. Do you see? That's why a lot of people, I saw a young bicyclist had a massive clots in his legs. Okay. He is not obese. He doesn't have problem with his leg. He's very muscular. Why is having stroke? Well, he has blood clots because the spike protein is on the vein, right? It's all the endothelial. Imagine this piping system, the arteries, the veins, the capillary. What is the first layer between the blood and the muscle? Because there's smooth muscle there. It's one single layer cells. They're called the endothelial. The endothelial. On top of the endothelial is glycocalyx. Glycocalyx is a very velvety layer that protect the endothelial. Okay, our body have a protection. So the blood pipes, it's like your piping system, right? It's smooth, so the liquid, the blood can go through it, right? But when you have air pollution, the 2.5 PM goes into the blood. It triggers the immune system to produce interleukin 6, IL-6. IL-6 can cause inflammation of the entire arteries, okay? And then the spike protein also trigger IL-6. So that's why when you have a stroke, it could be a combination of a bad air day, or you had COVID, or you're post-COVID. A lot of people have long hauler syndrome, is they have this spike protein lingering around in the blood. So that can cause immune inflammation. It's like you are lighting a match inside your arteries. You're damaging the velvety, smooth layer of the endothelial and glycocalyx. Do you see? So that is very, very important to understand. That could explain a lot of the new stroke incidents that happen during and post-COVID. Do you see?
That's so interesting. I, I know this seems strange, but one of the things that came out of COVID was everybody wearing masks. And I know because I helped somebody develop some mask. We wanted to create the healthiest mask there were out there.
Right.
Because I think you also know the downsides of wearing a mask. But on the mask, I'm assuming it really isn't it doesn't protect you against these, because if it's 2.5 PM2.
Right. No. The mask that prevent the 2.5 PM 2.5 is the N95, and it's much, much higher grade of filtration. Okay. The regular mask, like the blue one we wear around, that one just prevent your saliva particles come out of it. It does not prevent really, if somebody have virus, they cough at you, it doesn't really prevent it.
And
The
I don't think it really,
N95 does.
that's right. And then from our research,
Mm-hmm.
that was our conclusion. But
Right. Right.
the mask was never meant to be worn as much as it was.
Right.
It's not good for recycling your air,
That's
your own
true
breath.
too.
And
That's true too.
also the COVID itself, I don't think it was really an effective. I mean, as you said, it stops but I don't think it was effective at preventing COVID.
Right.
But
Right.
that being said,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I got off on a little bit of a tangent.
Right.
It's so interesting
Yeah.
because I think you're bringing up something that I never heard prior to you saying, the potential of environmental toxins.
Yes.
That also include mold, because I recognize it in buildings. And
Yeah.
yeah. And one of the solutions I saw towards mold, because in every building we have mold. It's not something that, but how the Amish dealt with mold using borax and natural products. And they were saying, we never had mold. I mean,
Right.
we have mold, but we were able to control it and keep
Right.
it in a healthy amount, which we're
Right.
using natural products like borax as an
Mm-hmm.
example.
Mm-hmm. So that you're very, very good at looking at one of the toxin. Okay. So if you say, Dr. Lu, let's not to get overwhelmed. Let's just make it really clear. What are we talking about when you say environmental pollutions? Environmental pollutions are categorized into heavy metal. Heavy metal is very, very common now, and they have been shown to increase cardiovascular disease, particularly cadmium, mercury, lead, arsenic, right? These are actually FDA, NIH recognized. Heavy metals are very dangerous to human health.
And how do we get exposed to those?
Heavy metal could be from water and air. So in China, when they burn coal, in the wintertime, you can see the cloud, it's loaded with heavy metal, right? Lead. Forest fire has lots of heavy metal in it, because heavy metal just part of the earth. It just get combusted into the air. And then to the PM 2.5, right? So that's one category. The second category is chemicals. Let's say you're driving behind a diesel vehicle and you smell the gasoline. And what is in there? There are also lots of derivatives. There are additives to make the gasoline burn more effective. And those are called MTBE. MTBE is a big, long chemical name. So those are traffic-related air pollution. And those could be neurotoxins, right? Those could also cause cancer. So there's our carcinogens. So you have heavy metal, PM 2.5 are part of the air pollution. Then you have chemicals. The chemicals are also divided into two groups. One of them is fat soluble. So fat soluble are like plastics, are BPAs, PCBs, phthalates, parabens. Those are, they like to go into the fat. And then you look at people, why they're getting bigger and bigger in America, right? Because they store in the fat tissue. And it's very hard to lose weight if you don't detoxify. People will just gain the weight back because fat is really a normal response of our body to try to accommodate the environmental pollutions. Fat, people gain weight is a normal response to a obesogenic environment. We call it obesogen.
That makes so much sense.
Does that make sense? Yes, it totally makes sense.
And it's effectively, I think there's a little, well, it's really problematic now that 50% of Americans are overweight, 70% are obesity is just at incredibly all-time high.
Exploded.
And I think, I don't want to say ignorance because that doesn't sound like a very good word. People not really understanding what the root cause of this.
No, they do not. They do not, Mark. That's why this environmental medicine it's a very old medicine. Okay, it's not new, because the American Academy of Environmental Medicine is a very, very old group of physicians who are looking at the environmental cause. And they have been around for 60 years. Why nobody know about it? Because it's called the inconvenient truth. Everybody want to make money by giving a weight loss program. American has the best weight loss program, and we're about the fattest country, right? And people don't talk about it. They just talk about food. They don't talk about obesogen at all, okay? So you will be like, Dr. Liu, how come I never heard of this? It's actually a name called obesogen. And American Endocrine Society have two official statements. Talk about obesogen is #1 cause of obesity. This is from American Endocrine Society. This is not from some kind of alternative medicine. Why we're not talking about it? We're still talking about GLP. Get people to lose 20, 25 pounds. Everybody's happy. Because we're not addressing the root cause.
Wow.
Now, the consequence is they now find out women at midlife. Okay, this is actually, you can Google and find out the article. It's published by Mayo Clinic. They followed a large population of women at midlife. They found if this woman lose weight at midlife, if they follow them for 10 years, they actually have more dementia. They have more dementia than people they didn't lose weight. Why is that?
I was going to say, I've heard that study, and I think you might have the answer. Do you know why that's happening?
Because when you lose 50 pounds, you are not losing just fat. Remember all the toxins, all the neurotoxins, the plastics, they all store in the fat. When you lose the fat, you lose your storage. So imagine you have a trailer on your property, and it's loaded with junk, okay? And you want to clean up the trailer. So you throw the junk into the house because you have you didn't get rid of the junk. You just want the trailer to be empty. When you are losing fat, you're dumping all the toxins into your bloodstream. And that the fat soluble toxin love the brain because the brain is all fat. And fat soluble toxins also can easily pass the blood-brain barrier. Mercury will be released from the fat. And then suddenly it was in the fat, which is much safer because the fat doesn't do anything. But it gets into the blood when you're losing weight and they get to the brain. Once it get to the brain, it's hard to get rid of.
You, for me, are solving a mystery that I knew a lot of these things. I just couldn't figure out how to put it together, and you're now explaining it.
See?
What are your thoughts on keto? I'm vegetarian, a plant-based diet. So
Can we keep going? We haven't finished
Sure.
all the toxin yet. So we
Okay.
have heavy metal, PM 2.5. We have this, I categorize them together, okay, because they are kind of in the air. Then we have the chemical. The chemical have fat-soluble chemical, right? We talk about the fat-soluble. The second group is water-soluble chemical. Those are pesticides. A lot of the pesticides are water-soluble because they have to put in the sprayer. They have to spray you, right? Pesticides, glyphosate, is a very bad systemic pro-inflammatory chemical. And they found out in Hawaii, when farmers are using a lot of pesticides, that group actually have a higher incidence of heart attack and stroke, okay? And I told you the story yesterday. My really good friend, she has a, beautiful husband in his 30s, and he loved to run around in the morning for his morning run. He's athletes, he's fit, and they were spraying a lot of pesticides in the Ventura area. If you look at Ventura County, they have the highest agriculture spray in the recent
strawberries
15
especially,
years.
which is I think
Correct.
the cause.
And he went out for a run, and by the time he got home, he didn't feel so good, and he passed out and died. And when they rushed him to the hospital, he had a massive stroke. This man never had high blood pressure. He was just massively poisoned. Okay? Now, he must have an immune system that's reacting to the pesticides as well. Do you see? So that's the second type, is the chemical, have water-soluble and fat-soluble. Number 3 group is the mold. We were talking about mycotoxins. Now, mold, you see it on the orange and the bread. Those mold does not get into your blood. You may have an allergy, you may look, yucky, but that mold is not as dangerous, okay? That's just natural things. But when the mold is agitated, for example, let's say you see mold in your shower, okay? You decided, I'm going to clean the mold myself. When you are using chlorine, right, trying to clean the mold is its own species. It just doesn't want to be bothered. It's like the skunk, okay? The mold will release mycotoxins. Mycotoxin is a self-defense. They're like, what do? You're trying to kill me? I'm going to kill you. The mold will release mycotoxin. That's different from the mold. The mold is just little spore-looking thing. The mycotoxin is much smaller. Mycotoxins are neurotoxins, so they can get into your brain and make you extremely brain fatigued, brain fog, anxiety attack, hallucination. A lot of psychological issues can be mold, okay? Mold toxin does not usually cause stroke, okay? So that's 3. Number 4 is electromagnetic frequencies. This is the one nobody wants to talk about it. Trust me, I love my cell phone. I just got my 17. People put on the ear, they look at it all day long. What is EMF? EMF is harmful, high frequency, 5G is gigahertz. They are disrupting our brain wave. We talk about, we're electrical beings. And people say, you can actually put the EEG and measure your brain wave. There's 4 hertz, which is delta wave. It's deep meditation. There is a Schumann frequency, is alpha wave, which is the Earth's wave, is 7.8. It's very low frequency, okay, compared to the 5G. There's a 5G, we're swimming around, and there's our brain trying to find peace and happiness. Okay. Peace and happiness is 7.8 hertz. But we are getting this agitating bleh, all day long. And you wonder why people are so mad. People are absolutely mad. Road rage, like honking and this behavior is not alpha wave. Alpha wave is 7.8 to 8 hertz. It's peace, calm, harmony, creation. When you have a lot of peace, the brain actually become very creative. They're wonderful.
Yes.
But what we are doing is we're harming our brain by doing very, very high constant buzzing. We also call this type of electricity static electricity. They're not natural to the brain. You see? The brain is low frequency, is complex vibration. We are human harmonic. I have a good slide to show you. Different organs have different frequencies. They're all very low. They're all like 52, 10. The human body is like a symphony. Okay? So suddenly we have this screaming loud speaker, from all this dirty electricity. So that's the number 4 pollution. So heavy metal, chemical, we talk about PM 2.5, right? And then mycotoxins from the mold, then EMF. There's four right now, right? What is the
EMF
5? The 5
Well,
is the spike.
the spike protein from the COVID.
Correct. That's
Wow.
our new enemy, Mark. That's the new enemy. We, when I look at physicians, they treat patients differently. They said, okay, yeah, but they forgot something happened in the past 6 years. Is we have a new virus that is extremely harmful to the cardiovascular system. It's not just the lung. It's not a cold. People say it's just a cold. It's not just a cold, because we have now seen increased cardiovascular disease, stroke, blood clots, organ failure, cancer. Because it's not just a cold virus. It
Wow.
causes inflammation of the body. It really causes the immune system to be very, very stressed out. Our immune system is like, this thing is on the artery. Should I attack it? The immune system is not seeing anything in our entire history that the virus can attack the cardiovascular system.
Wow.
It's just really, really important for people to know that. And then people say, well, Dr. Lu, what we should do, right? You go get your blood test done. You look at the COVID-19 antibodies. You look at your inflammatory markers and make sure they are being addressed. Now, how do you address them? You can use nattokinase, bromelain, and some people recommend the nicotine because the spike protein also go to the nicotine receptors to get into your body. So you can do that. You can increase your omega-3, right? Definitely to make sure you're anti-inflammatory in your lipid. And what else you can do? And that's where the modern technology comes in. Because PEMF, I have one right here, actually increase nitric oxide production and improve endothelial function, decrease systemic inflammation. For the brain, it increased stem cell migration to the brain. It help neural regeneration. And I actually can, if you want me to share this list, I just have the list came out from the ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is not fake news, right? ChatGPT is science summarized together by information we have, right?
It is such a huge collection of information that
Yeah.
if you ask the right questions, you can get amazing answers. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And this is a God-given tool. Let me tell you, without this, so Mark, what I like to do, if it's possible, is to share my screen.
Yes, of course.
Do you think we
Can you see
can
the
share
share
my
button
screen?
down below?
Yes. Okay, let me just share the screen so you can see, okay? Let's take a look at the screen. You can see it. Okay, do you see? So I just did this right before our podcast. because I want to have a good information. So PEMF has been studied as a potential adjuvant to ischemic stroke recovery. It's not for acute. There's no large clinical trial yet, but the potential benefit include neuroprotection, may reduce neuronal injury in the ischemic area, right, by influencing mitochondrial function. It can improve cerebral blood flow, can reduce neuroinflammation. It's a mitochondrial support. It support the neuroplasticity, which is regrowing of the new cell. And it's improving angiogenesis, so it can give you new arteries to the area, right? It helps motor recovery. So a lot of people have, musculoskeletal atrophy or lack of usage. So it's very important to increase recovery of movement combined with conventional rehab, right? It can reduce edema and the secondary injury. Because a lot of people have the stroke, they have a post-stroke edema, and this edema can cause more problem, right? Because if it's in the brain, you have a very small space. You don't want to have lots of swelling. This can actually decrease swelling. So you can see the benefit. It's incredible.
Wow.
Do you see? So
That's
that's why I'm so excited, Mark. In the past, I don't have a lots of things to offer to patient. I can give them human growth hormone support that sometimes help the recovery. I can give them some omega-6, omega-3, nattokinase. You have to be careful because nattokinase can make the blood too thin. And a lot of the supplement, you have to be careful. Like if you give too much, then, the post-stroke tissue is very, very vulnerable. They can start bleeding. So you don't want it, it's already ischemic and damaged. You don't want to give too much of those that start causing the bleeding. So PEMF can really help the body in a very safe way. Do you see?
yes. I mean, it's completely non-invasive, which I think is amazing.
Exactly. And then
And
this one, Mark, is FDA registered as a class 1 wellness device. Okay. People don't, if you don't sell medical equipment, you don't understand what the class 1 means. Class 1 means everybody can use it. It's the same safety as a toothbrush. Do you know toothbrush is class 1 wellness device? This is like a toothbrush.
yet
So,
and my understanding from
mhm,
your explaining before, not
mhm,
only this is what it could do for a stroke,
mhm.
it also provides other benefits as well.
Yes,
Is it
I use
bone
it.
bone recovery? Yes, you used it for your cancer, didn't you?
Yes. So PEMF basically is supporting the whole body's biological process. PEMF is pulsed electromagnetic field. It stands for pulsed electromagnetic field. When the human body is in this field, the only function of PEMF is to activate the molecules. So our body is made of all the way, right? All the way to the cells. The cells are made of molecules, made of protein, fat, water, chemicals, DNA, RNA, right? These are, subcellular particles. These are made of amino acid, right? Carbon, phosphate, and those are atoms. Atoms are made of electrons, neutrons, right? Neutrons, it doesn't carry any charge. Protons, right? So atoms are made of electrons, which is negatively charged, protons, positively charged. Neutrons don't carry any charge. What does PEMF do? PEMF give extra electrons. So it activates the atom. It's a molecular activator. That's the mechanism of PEMF. So when the body have more energy, right? It doesn't matter what energy. It could be enzymes. It could be lymphatic flow. It could be the muscle contraction, which rely on the voltage across the cell membrane, the calcium voltage, the potassium, sodium. The ATP is made of electron transport, right? It's an electron process. So these things are enhanced by the PEMF. When the PEMF increase the action of these molecular energy, we call the activating energy. The body use the energy to increase blood flow, increase nitric oxide, increase enzymes. So when you have good blood flow, you absorb nutrients, you absorb your vitamins, your omega-3, it actually get to the tissue, right? When you have better blood flow, you have better lymphatic, the toxins get removed out of your body. You have better kidney function. Your gut is improved, so you're pooping all the toxins out. So the whole body become healthier much, much faster. Otherwise, we're taking this supplement, this drink. We're taking, hormones and peptides, all these things. But if your body doesn't have a good blood flow, your body have no energy, right? These things doesn't even get absorbed. So I always have people said, my wife, yesterday I saw a woman from Berkeley, okay? She take 40 supplements.
Oh my gosh.
40. And she is 57 years old, could not get out of bed. She pooped in her bed.
Oh my gosh.
So the question is, what is wrong with her, right? She has seen the neurologist. She has seen the cardiovascular, make sure she doesn't have heart failure. She see all these doctors. She see the functional medicine doctor too. Everybody's seeing her. They don't know what to do. Every time they see her, they just give her more supplement. So we need to find out what is going on with her. Does she have too much toxins? And she doesn't have enough energy to get rid of them. So we need to do both, right? So people say, can you just do the cloud, this by itself? No, you still have to eat healthy. You need to avoid the toxins that are coming into your body. You can't be smoking cigarette and then do the cloud, right? It doesn't work. The cloud will just give you the energy to do whatever you're doing much, much better, much, much faster.
Yeah. And I mean, what I learned in massage, and I want to relate to one powerful way that massage, I believe, is so healing, isn't just by pushing the acupressure points. It puts people in a deeper state of relaxation. And I believe in that deep state of relaxation, the body is magically able to heal itself. If you watch animals, when they're sick, they tend to go off in a corner and be really quiet. That allows their bodies to heal. I know you gave me a brief demonstration to myself and to my friends at the tower in San Francisco. And all three, well, I know Michael and I had a very similar experience in that we went into a very deep state of relaxation. And from both his and my talking about it was, we saw the healing qualities through that. Like, oh my gosh, if this could put you in such a deep state of relaxation, it's got to have a lot of benefits. And and I think we're only scratching the surface because you're saying within that deep state of, like, if I'm understanding it correctly, within that deep state of relaxation, it also improves blood flow, which is massively important for preventing strokes, preventing heart disease. And it also helps almost in every. What's so magical about holistic
Yes.
medicine is
Mm-hmm.
the side effects is it doesn't just cure one thing, as
Mm-hmm.
often the approach from Western medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It has the side effect is it kills all sorts of things. And
Exactly. Exactly. It's have you heard of Dying to Be Me?
no,
Anita Mojani.
oh, I
Anita
love that.
Mojani was dying from cancer. Okay. She had a near death experience, and she decided it's not my time to go. It's one case documented terminal cancer had a spontaneous recovery. Okay. She, in her book, you should interview her. It's called Dying to Be Me. In her book, she said, you sometimes simply allow your body to do the work. The problem with medicine, I'm talking about both holistic and conventional, is we want to do things to the body. We
Yes,
want to force the body to do things. We don't allow the body, right? So I talked to a psychiatrist. He said, sometimes it's very hard to teach people about mental health because they're in the survival mode. Okay. They're fight and flight. They're just fighting. If you just simply relax them, allow the body to be in the body. And Joe Dispenza said that same thing. You don't try to do harmful things to your body to force your body to heal when your body just simply need to be left alone,
yes,
right? Now that's really hard because as healers, we all want to do something. I'm the same, I want to give people a magic shot and they just jump out of bed. But unfortunately, we have been doing that kind of medicine for too long. And if you look at America, Mark, I travel all over the world. Americans are the sickest because
they
we have
are.
the most toxins and stress. And then, modern intervention, it has a place. Like I said, it does have a place. It's when you're acutely ill. But when you allow your body to heal, your body heal beautifully. Okay, so yesterday I did a presentation, Mark. I was in a little gathering, and my patient had multiple stroke. This the lady had in her 70s, had multiple little infarcts. Okay, she ended up in the hospital. The first time they said you had a little stroke, and then every time she go to the massage therapist, um, she has atrial fibrillation as well. So they think it's probably from the AFib. And then every time the massage therapist touch her neck, her whole body would start shaking and
Interesting. Because it
thrashing,
was,
right? Like this.
you know,
And then she started doing the PEMF about 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks to a month ago. Yesterday, I saw her. She said her massage therapist was right there. She said she bought the cloud because now she can give her massage without triggering this whole body thrashing thing, which is quite frightening because we thought she was having a seizure. It was very violent. Okay. That was gone. And then I said, she said, I don't know if I still have AFib because I don't feel it. So I put my hand on her pulse. I want to see if she's still in AFib. And she's completely regulated. She has a regular heart rate. Yesterday, Beverly
oh my
Gray,
gosh.
I'm going to have her give a little testimonial, okay? Because when you are in the massive stress, when your body is trying to heal yourself, you have to download all the stress, simply allow the body to do its own job. And sometimes the heart have atrial fibrillation or, arrhythmia. The body just want to get rid of it. If you go to a cardiologist, they just want to shock it out. And it's really try to silence our heart, and sometimes it works, but the heart is speaking. Do you understand? The heart is
Yes.
speaking to us.
Hmm.
Okay. And talk to Dr. What her name, Mimi. Mimi wrote a book called The Heart Speaks. She
Oh,
lost her mother to heart attack, and she became a cardiologist. because her mother was only in her 40s when she lost it. She follows the heart transplant patient, okay? And the heart transplant patient, when they have the new heart, start to remember the person who gave the heart. The heart has a
Interest.
memory.
It's funny. I've heard that once before.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So when people say, why we have so many atrial fibrillation, there's some of them are from alcohol or heart disease, for sure. But there's 30% of people with atrial fibrillation absolutely have no reason. And the medicine will call idiopathic. Idiopathic means we don't know. We don't know. 30% of people with atrial fibrillation have no known reason. Do you know why?
Wow. That's incredible.
Because the heart is speaking. The heart is speaking to us. And this is so amazing because we have heart carries the emotion of trust, forgiveness, and love. Trust, we don't trust anyone these days. Forgive, it's very hard to forgive because we have too much trauma, we never express it. And love, our community is losing love. We don't understand what love is. Love is become conditional. If you do this for me, I love you. If you don't do this for me, I don't love you, right? Love is becoming conditional. So we have to address these emotional issues because our heart is speaking to us. That's the part it's hard for medicine. Medical doctors don't have time to talk about it. But let me tell you, it is so powerful that can definitely help your body to heal. So,
Wow.
hopefully this is, very good ending for our little conversation about stroke, heart disease and cancer, autoimmune, because I now have no more autoimmune marker. My autoimmune marker is completely gone. My cancer is completely gone. I have never been so healthy today. All my measurement of inflammations are completely normal. And why? Because through the cancer treatment, I discovered not only environment, but also the subconscious lack of love. Forgive yourself first. Because people say, why can't you forgive? Well, sometimes we don't forgive ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. And finding love, finding purpose in life, it would absolutely make you healthier. So,
Yeah. I heard a story a couple days ago,
mhm,
but it really struck me.
yes.
This man was attacked,
Mhm.
and they hit him over the head. His attacker hit him over the head with a baseball bat. He was in a coma, and they didn't think he was going to make it. He made it. He came back to life. And he said, and his roommate was sitting next to him when he became conscious again. And he said the first thing he said
Mm,
was, I've got to forgive the
mm,
guy who hit me on the head.
oh my
And
God.
it just struck everybody. Like, that's the first thing he said. And how could that? And I think what it was, and then he
Mm,
told this whole story about
mm,
how they caught the guy, he went to jail, how they connected while he was in jail, and how transformative it was for for him to forgive him, and
yes.
how powerful it was for them to connect.
Yeah.
Because he said he attributed that
Oh,
to something that really helped him heal as well.
right, 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 right.
But what was so
Mm,
the power of forgiveness is just
mm,
huge. And
yes.
and, and how do you forgive somebody that could do that? But when you
Right,
can, it
right,
is
right,
so liberating.
right.
And another thing I want to
Mm-hmm.
say in 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 positive support of the
Uh-huh.
technologies you're working with,
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing a common
Uh-huh.
thread that goes
Mm,
through the people I'm bringing to these podcasts. I'm looking for
mm-hmm.
people that have done extraordinary things in their life.
Mm,
Um, I don't want to say overachievers, but people that have achieved so much that
mm,
most people look at them and like, how do you do this? Do you ever sleep? And what they have in common is it's just the opposite. In fact, one, Eugene, who you introduced me to, who's done so many things, said, I sleep 10 hours a day because I think rest is so important.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to achieve things when you're in that state of calmness, when you're in that state of flow. And what I got from your device, what Michael and I looked at each other and said, there's something here,
Mm-hmm.
um, was anything that could put us in such a relaxed state has to have,
Yes.
beyond all the other benefits that you as a doctor
Right.
can identify,
Right. Right.
we just immediately saw the benefit of that.
Right.
And that was undisputable.
Yeah.
It's that point. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Michael is somebody I just absolutely am so fond of. In
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco's
Mm-hmm.
together, I mean, we strive to achieve so many things in the world, and
Right.
you can only do that when you're in a state of
Well
centeredness,
rested.
well
Yes.
rested, flow,
Yes.
and I believe technologies that you're looking at are all
Yes.
things that could put us in that state. And
Yes.
and anything that do that,
Mm-hmm.
beyond the benefits of health, it also helps other benefits. I mean, oh my gosh,
Yes.
in a company where they're working on something that can make such a difference in the world,
Yep.
what price tag do you put on something that can get
Right.
you? Because I absolutely thrive on innovation, and
Mm-hmm.
innovation only comes when you're in that flow state. And
Correct.
and
That's
everything
true.
we've done, every time we come together,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I found is to get people in that state
Mm-hmm.
of calmness, but
Right.
excitement. And I know it's a little bit of a contradiction,
Right.
but you wanna find both. You wanna come to a state of
Yep.
calmness and then
Yep.
let it escalate up in a
Mm-hmm.
creative explosion of just ideas
Mm-hmm.
um, and anything that can help
Right.
do
Right.
that
And
has
Mark, I just want to share with you why this PEMF, right, has really changed my life. Because after breast cancer, I have to take 2 drugs last year to prevent it from coming back. And the 2 drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, sometimes influencing our ATP production, and some of them affecting our dopamine level. Okay. And because I also have to take hormone blockers, so no hormone, no dopamine. What is dopamine? Dopamine actually control motivation. So a lot of people just blame the young people have no dopamine. Well, because they're so stressed out, they're not in the alpha state. So a lot of people don't know the alpha state equals to dopamine production. So when you're calm, people think when you're calm, you have no motivation. That's exactly the opposite. When you are calm, you are in the
yes,
alpha state.
yes,
Alpha state create dopamine.
yes,
Dopamine give you motivation and creativity.
yes.
See? And the nature of human, okay, this is very interesting because we talk about God. People don't like to talk about God. And I listened to this incredible woman. Her name is Carolyn Mays. She
Oh,
talked about
yeah.
God a lot, right? And also, John O'Donohue is a Irish priest, as a poet. You should Google him because he's amazing. He talked about the reason religion is failing, right? Because they portray God as this very scary father that goes around and tell people they're going to go to hell unless they, do something. But the most significant part of God, the God that is completely wild, okay, is the creative part of God. And that is in every single human being. What makes us different from animals, right? We're the most creative species. When we create, we're happy,
Yes,
right? And that now it's all related to the alpha wave, the dopamine. People say, why people scroll the thing? Well, that's dopamine. They're looking for dopamine. But if you have alpha wave with dopamine, you become creative and then you become happier. That is absolutely the human nature. And the best way to reach God, right, is become creative, become your authentic self. to express your own creativity. Is
Yes.
not to just go into a factory, in and out all day long. You need to create. You need to, whatever you create, you don't have to create, elaborate things. You can create a beautiful garden. You can create, a painting, a piece of music on the piano. You can create, whatever you like. You raise a kid who is very creative. You watch this little kid, you grow, you just do whatever you need to create that authentic expression of life, right? And that
You,
is
yes.
fantastic.
And something else that I just want to add to what you're saying, because I think you're so absolutely right on,
Mm-hmm.
is when we get into our creative state, I try to get every product that we create as if we're doing it for somebody we absolutely love. It's coming from our heart. Because you were referencing earlier how our heart plays such a vital role in, and
Yes.
it does. When I create a product, I think about somebody using it, somebody
Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely in love with, somebody that I
Yes.
really want to help because
Mm-hmm.
they are somebody so special in my life. And when I
Yes.
infuse that kind of energy
Mm,
into the creative ideas of making it, and I get my team to do it. And for them, it's so funny. It's so uplifting. They said, "Oh my
yes.
god, the energy in this room," because it's love
Yes.
energy.
Yep.
It's that energy of we're not just creating something, we're
Mm-hmm.
creating
Mm-hmm.
something from love,
Yep.
and
Yep.
we imagine how
Mm,
the experience of the end user, how it's going to have
mm-hmm.
so much deeper meaning to them,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that's what feeds our soul.
Yep. And then my vision is through utilization of this technology, I want to create communities that is no longer fight and flight. They're reaching their alpha state. They're creative. They are collaborative. They are in love with life. And my vision is not to change everyone, but I do understand the phenomena called the tipping point. The tipping point is if we can reach 10% of the population in the United States, let's just start from the United States, right? 10% of them are in alpha state. They're in peace. They're calm. They let go the judgment. They let go the anger. They are in love with life. Just 10%. Think how much that can change United States. Think when United States change, we're the leader of the world right now, right? We're going to really affecting others.
And I think one of the approaches, and one of the things I hope to come out of this podcast, is
Uh-huh.
meeting people like you and so many others, and we come together collectively.
Mm-hmm.
I think the starting point for that
Yes.
is going to businesses. Dr. Arlen Cage, who we both know, is an
Yeah.
extraordinarily smart man. He started out as a rocket scientist in NASA. He got a
Yes.
little bit disenchanted with the politics of NASA, so he became a
Right.
naturopath doctor. Um,
Right.
and but he made a very interesting statement. He said, "Any company that doesn't put the wellness of their employees first
Right.
is not going to prosper. It's not a
Exactly.
company worth working for." And
Yes.
if we can approach companies and help bring wellness programs, the technologies, the knowledge that you have, how do we get, how do we do this so we can affect the most number of people?
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
something else I think we talked about earlier. You know,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I was a massage therapist. I could only touch so many people in a day,
Correct.
6
Correct.
people.
Yep.
You, as a doctor, I think you came to the recognition there's only so many patients I can see in a day. How can
Yep.
I help more people? And
Right.
for me, I sold over 10 million of these. I was
Right.
able to touch 10 million people. It's
Right.
it's finding ways, all of us collectively.
Mm.
How do we touch
Yes.
the greatest number of people? And I think if we
Yes.
could do this through the workplace, creating wellness programs that
Yes.
people look forward to going to work because they feel so
Mm-hmm.
good there.
Oh my
And
God. Totally. Let's do it.
yes, yes,
Wellness program that's simple, doesn't take too much time. And let's say during lunch break, they can
yes,
take 15 minutes, just do this. And then well, I also have this new calm, you just put the new calm. It's an app. You go into the alpha stage,
yes.
15 minutes. You can have beautiful lunch, listen to music, you're going back to work, and now you are in a complete different brain state.
And all the studies I've done
Mm-hmm.
confirm what you were just saying. When,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I have another friend who I
So exciting.
very
Mark.
much value, but he
Yes.
wrote I think he wrote a book called Sitless,
Yeah.
um, basically saying we
Mm-hmm.
spend 13 hours a day sitting in a
Sitting.
chair. We've got to get up and walk. For me, every time I get a phone call, I'm walking around the block, um,
Yes.
um, because I can
Mm-hmm.
walk and talk, and
Yes.
but also the idea that um, we've got to get into those calm states, and especially at work, sometimes there's difficult situations. If somebody yells at a customer service person, she's going to be kind of a little bit off balance for at least an hour or
Right.
two. The technologies
Yes.
you're saying that can restore them immediately, and it
Yeah.
means that there's
Yeah.
um because you want to keep everybody
Oh,
in a high level. Other
yes.
studies have shown that when
Mm.
somebody's positive, it affects 15% of the people around them, or it
That's
brings them
right.
up 15. But when they're
Yep.
negative, it affects
Yeah.
50%.
Right.
And you want to change that negativity to positivity, and these are all ways that can do it. And there's
Yeah.
so much science to
There's
support
so much
the,
science.
the benefit
There's
of this.
so yes.
I know in
Yes. Yes. Yes.
America, 80% of employees are disengaged. That's costing the US
Wow. 80%.
$550 billion a year. And
Wow.
globally, it's costing 8.8 trillion. We have something that drastically changed that
Mm-hmm.
because it
Mm-hmm.
starts with wellness, body,
Yes.
mind, and spirit. I know something you're so into, and
Yes.
it's so prevalent in Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
Um, you treat the whole person, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
only way to do it.
Mm-hmm. 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 Wow. So you discover 80% employees in America are dissatisfied
Well,
or
the term they use is disengage versus
disengaged.
engage. Disengage
Disengaged.
means you're going to work, but only to collect a paycheck. You're not there because you're excited. Um, and the way you excite people is you give purpose and meaning to their work. Is the way that you engage employees, but then give added benefits because people want to work for a company that they know cares about them.
Right.
And there's no better way to demonstrate that you care
Yeah.
about an
Yeah.
employee than
Yeah.
to take care of their well-being.
You also, I heard people also like to work with a company when the co-workers are happy.
Yes.
Can you imagine to work in a place
Yes.
that everybody's so unhappy? Oh
Well,
my
that's
God.
to me, a successful workday is when 6 o'clock comes and I'm like, you guys, you got to go home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's funny in
Totally.
Silicon Valley, somebody said 6 o'clock. Oh my gosh, we always worked at 9 o'clock. But the
Yes.
point
Yes.
is
Yes. Mm.
when when you're excited about being at work, and
Yeah.
um, that's engagement, and we
Yeah.
spend the majority of our time at work. It
Mhm.
should be something we enjoy doing.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a much better solution. Let me tell you why I love the cloud. It's just so much easier than talking therapy or even yoga, because this actually change your brain. This is like meditation without you have to be successfully meditation because this give you the alpha wave, the data, the delta wave together with Newcom. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to Jim. Newcom is an app. It's like it's on the phone. It's like $14 a month. You can choose the relaxation suite, whatever. They put the earphone on your head. You go right into alpha wave. When I did that with you and Michael, the benefit is just like you can't even you don't believe the thing. Like people say that the beautiful thing about energy healing, it works even though you don't believe it.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a new movie called Frequency. It's coming out. It's premiered yesterday. They talk about the frequency. It's all there is. We're all frequency beings. So if you say I have 5 employees who all have family stress and worry about mom's health and the kids is autistic or ADD, having trouble in school, they come to work. It's very hard for them to forget everything at home because they're human beings. So what the brain state is beta. Beta state is fight and flight and survive. Fight and flight and survive. So you can't talk them out of it because they're human. They're not robot. You can't just turn the button, say, go into alpha state, right? But if they have that 15 minutes, when they first come in, say, are you a little bit of, are you okay? Are you upset? Right? This is boom. And then there are 6 hours. This is the thing about this. Once you do it, it lasts 6 hours. It doesn't just last 15 minutes. It changes your brain chemistry for 6 hours. Mark.
And what that does in terms of work, it makes you far
Yes.
more productive. Nobody,
Yes.
when you're under the beta, the fight or flight, you
Yeah.
don't make good decisions. I
Mm.
was talking to Eugene on this podcast, and he was saying, I asked, "What's your secret?" Because he's, as we both know, he's achieved a lot in his life,
Yes.
and he said, "I get enough sleep." And he was saying, 8 hours sleep is really, you want to get at least that much. And if you go 1 hour less than that, it almost is the equivalent of a DUI. And um, and I know because I was studying a device that could help you stay awake when you're driving. And um, the the second leading cause of preventable
Accident.
accidents
Right. Right.
is DUI is the number one. Number two is sleep deprived, and
Wow.
not falling asleep at the wheel. We need this.
Wow.
And
Yes.
anything, because I know this is battery powered. You could put it in your car. Anything that would get you to a state, and oh my gosh, I I'm I'm being back here in San Francisco. Um, it's not fun to drive in traffic. It's just
No.
I mean the phone changes. Probably not a good thing, but at least I could be kind of what's the word? I could be on the phone or doing something while I'm driving, so the time's used a little more constructively. But it's, oh my gosh, the stress and anything that would relieve that stress is so
Mhm.
beneficial.
Yes. Yes, Mark, you're totally right. And if we can do it at home, at comfort, that's better. But if people can't afford it, they can just go to workplace. They probably look forward to go to work because then they
Well,
get their brain massaged.
exactly. Um the I was working with some other technologies, and I think your
Mm-hmm.
technology is so
Mm.
synergetic to the
Yes.
others.
Yeah.
But my feeling is,
Mm-hmm.
people now, after experiencing remote work,
Mm-hmm.
um, they really they don't want to go back to the office, and I understand why. There's
Right.
such a convenience. But if
Mm-hmm.
the employer could offer some reasons, kind of
Mm-hmm.
bribe them in some ways,
Mm-hmm.
this is one of them. If they could go
Mm-hmm.
back to work and take advantage of these modalities to
Exactly.
rely on this and say, "Oh my gosh,
Uh-huh.
I've got to get more of this." Um,
Yeah.
it's a way, and to every employer,
Mm-hmm.
they've got
Mm-hmm.
to see the benefits of this.
Yeah.
If you create healthy employees, you create
Mm-hmm.
powerful employees, employees that
Yes.
enjoy coming to work, employees that are
Mm.
more productive. Um, of the, the statistics are just unbelievable. We wrote a book on it
Right.
called Igniting Workplace Joy, and
Right.
and looking at all the benefits of engaged versus
Right.
disengaged employees, and
Right.
you engage employees when you take care of them, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
this
Yep.
is
And then
yes,
this, what I also really like this is you don't get sweaty. It's
yes.
not like you have to take off all your clothes and go to a sauna and find a shower. You just lay on it for 15 minutes. It's unbelievable. It's so convenient.
Well,
Um,
that's
right?
15
It's
minutes to
just
get
so,
6 hours of benefit is pretty amazing,
it
and,
is amazing. Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
something
yes,
we did in
yes.
our company, being a company that is so much believes in massage and makes massage
Mm-hmm.
tools, is we offered free massage to our
Yes.
employees, and I remember a lot of people who like, "Really? Like, not only are you wasting their time, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're losing, 30
Mm-hmm.
minutes of their time once a week." Um, it's expensive to do it, but when we looked at it, I mean, we literally had universities studying our company. They saw the benefit.
Mm-hmm.
When they through the case studies they did, they
Right,
said, "You
right.
know what? It does make sense. You have
Yeah.
healthier employees, you have
Yeah. Yeah.
um, um, taking care of people
Right.
is a good return on your investment. And
Right, right.
uh,
And Mark, you can tell, your proposal giving free massage probably work, right, in your small company. But if the company have 50 people, to give 50 free massages is probably not possible. But this is possible.
this
Yesterday we
is
did 10 people, right? In 1 hour. We have 3 mats.
well, that's where I was seeing the technology. And by the way,
Yeah.
we had over 300. So, but
Yeah.
but we
Oh, you
had
have
two
300.
two
Then
two massage
everybody get
therapists.
massage. You're
Um,
very generous. Yeah.
so
I can see that could be a little bit of challenging, to companies that are really small and that doesn't have that resource.
yeah,
But what's really cool that I see this as more convenient and practical, you also can do it in a car. You can drive, well, let's say, the Bay Area driving is easily an hour. Los Angeles is easily 2 hours, right? And you can put this on your neck like this. Okay, yesterday, Chiharu just came back from Japan. She has a horrendous jet lag. So I just put this on her head during the lecture. She just put it on a little scarf. She turned it on to energy. Her brain is completely clear and energetic. And then when she was in the car, she take a little nap. It's called the 15 minutes power nap.
right.
It's
The
so nice.
wow.
It's just so practical. I'm
Right.
Chinese. I'm very practical.
Well, and also I remember we had this conversation
Yeah.
going to China.
Huh?
I was amazed that people took power naps or I don't know if it's called power
Yes.
naps, but the
Everywhere.
siesta everywhere.
But
And
it's very safe in China. See?
yes, and
Here, if you fell
literally
asleep in the
I've
park.
had I've had people, I'm working with them and they just said, I've got to get my nap. I'm just not the same if I don't get it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
um and I said, "Oh, please, I absolutely
Mm,
understand." And
yeah.
um
Mm-hmm.
it was such
So
s-
healthy. So
so
healthy.
healthy. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to me, the Chinese are so much healthier than we are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a statistic, I don't know if this is still true, but somebody pointed out in China, they spend 17% of their GPT on food and 10% on healthcare. In America, it's
Yeah.
flipped. We
Mm-hmm.
spend 10% of our GPT, all the money we earn, on food and 17% on healthcare. That number's wrong. You can
Yeah.
see priorities have gotten mixed up. And
Yeah. Also, people don't sit down to eat. I love one thing
yeah,
I love to go to Italy is
yeah,
they spend hours to eat lunch.
yes.
Hours. Like here, they eat when they're working
Oh,
for
and it's
10
terrible.
minutes.
You
Yeah.
you need to eat, you need to experience every ingredient that you're tasting and what is that food doing as you're eating it and it's going through your body and how is it and it
Right.
needs to be
I
good
know.
food.
I
It's
know.
just I
I
know
think
that
as the humans are looking for a better way, Mark, this is one thing, how long you can be like in this dysfunctional state. The most, they said that insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over that doesn't work anymore.
expecting different results. Yes. I
Insanity.
I know. It's just
Um, there's another metaphor is I'm driving the car and I going to a little bridge to cross a bridge to the village, and then this guy comes back. He looks all shuffled, accident, his car is all dented, and he drives, passing you. Said, "Hey, don't keep going. The bridge is down. Look what happened to me. I'm a wreck, right?" And what do I do? Do I keep driving? Or find out myself I have a wreck, or should I turn around? It just people are losing the ability to make sense for whatever reason, right?
yes.
So we really just need to, sometimes we say, is it working? Whatever you're doing, is it working? If it's not working, maybe find a different solution.
Yes. And well, something we alluded to earlier,
Right.
everything has to come from love, from the heart. And that I started the conversation. I want to finish it by saying, I'm so
Yes.
grateful for you. You are one of those
Mhm.
people that I immediately when I met you for the first time, I could sense how much you cared about people. And that to me is the number one thing in healing. We
Yes.
sense, I could sense it in doctors' hands, yours
Yes.
especially, when they coming from a very tactile massage background, that when they care. And I
Yeah.
think caring is the number one way of we need to have more of that in the world.
Yes.
And
We
I
do.
mean,
We do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that only comes when we're in a good place ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard to care for somebody else
Exactly.
if we're not taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we are, you probably never heard this book called Voltage. Healing is Voltage,
No.
and by Dr. Tennant. He is he's a ophthalmologist. He reversed macular degeneration by giving the energy to the eye, okay, through a microcurrent device. He talked about when we are with the patient, when physicians are with the patient, what we're doing is we're donating the voltage every day in, day out, for years and years. And then when we run out of voltage, we become a less effective healer. We're burned out. When the physician is burned out, she cannot heal anyone, right? So that was
Yes.
one thing that's so true. And that's another reason I want to do retreat for physicians, have them experience the math. The other thing is when you're with a dog, let's say you have a pet, the pet oftentimes is a donor. They will donate the voltage to the owner who is sick. And sometimes that's why the dog is sick. Do you see? Because the dog is a donor. Okay. And so then you really have to understand, the more people have better energy is better for the animal, is better for the patient. It's for your patient. Now, please be happy and healthy, have a wonderful marriage, and make love every day, because it's actually good for your patient.
Yeah.
So,
Are
right? So we
we
really
need
need to, yeah.
I often refer to massage as carrying touch. We need that
Hmm.
touch. That is
Yes.
something that,
Hmm.
because to me, touch means connection.
And
We
we
need
need
to
to
be
get the
connected.
massage therapist to get a good energy,
Yes.
because otherwise they're not doing a good job when they're all depleted.
Yes.
It's the
And
same.
again, it all comes from when I learned massage,
Hmm.
the very first thing you learned is
Hmm.
take care of yourself, get centered, be, and it's so critical. And that's
So
where I'm again
critical.
seeing the technology that that you're working with is that um, it helps you get in that place. That's only
Yes,
where that's the only time we're going to be most effective. And again,
that's
that's what
true.
I'm seeing now as a silver thread that seems to connect so many successful people is they can
Yeah,
get in that flow state.
yeah,
And um, um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
So let's do it. Let's do more talk, and people may have questions about the technology. I used to give people supplement to make them happy. I now think the energy is number one. Tesla said, if you want to go into healing, you look into vibration, electricity, and sound, right? These are all frequencies. You have to think about human being in a different way.
I couldn't agree with you more. And Tesla was ahead of his time. I think he
Yes,
was. A lot of people wondered if he was really, in fact, from this world because
right.
he was so insightful.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think a
Yeah.
gift to all of us, as you are, and so many people I'm
Mm,
now meeting um, are coming from a place of true caring and heart space to make a difference. It's also,
yeah.
I think, as we get older in the world,
Yeah.
we we recognize what's really important and
Right.
want to share that only to help the world be a better place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We know what worked, what didn't work. So,
Yes.
I think one thing I need to work with myself is I need to have faith that humanity are well taken care of. And I'm just a messenger. And I don't have to be the message. I'm just a messenger.
It's so funny. I g- I played a lot with the word faith, and
Yeah.
it's so
Yes.
important. Faith is
Mm-hmm.
believing in something higher than ourselves,
Yep.
believing that something is possible, and it starts with
Mm,
that. You have
yes.
to, you've got to have that faith,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
um, yeah.
True. True. Okay. Well, I love to meet all your friends who want to know about healing. When I had my breast cancer, I have a very wonderful friend. She said, Dr. Lu, you need to form a treatment team. You need to have a healing team. You can't expect the treatment team to do your healing. So it's all good. Both of them are important.
Yes, and that's, I guess that's where I was seeing the benefits of my stroke groups was around other people, we help each other. Because we all want the best for
Yep.
each other.
Correct.
We need family. We need,
Yep.
um,
Yep.
yeah,
And you inspire me. So I'm going to have a healing team for breast cancer ladies.
perfect.
Hmm?
I
Yeah.
think you'll find tremendous benefit. You'll find benefit in it, but I know everybody on that team is going to
Mm-hmm.
find so much benefit being a part of
Yes.
your team. So,
Fantastic.
yeah,
I will
great.
do it.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. And
Thank you so much.
we've got to talk again. This was amazing. So thank you.
Yes, I can't wait when you edit it and I'll send it to my friends.
Is there anything, if somebody wants to get hold of you, do you have a
Oh,
website or do you have,
yeah. So you can also email me to drlu at drlumd.com.
perfect. Dr. Lou at drlou.com.
Yes.
Perfect. And we'll publish this down below where my amazing assistant will figure out that one. So thank you.
Yes. Okay.
So
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful Saturday and
you
enjoy
too.
the evening.
Thank you very, very much. All
Thank you,
right.
Mark. Okay. Take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.